This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, rat catchers? This is Steven, your host with Fantology Podcast, and I have my lifelong friend Jake here, and we have our resident maester and expert Hayden on with us again. He was here a couple of years ago when we covered season one, and he knows more than we do about what's going on in the show and in the book and the world. So we're stoked to have you back, Hayden.
Excited to be back.
So we're talking episode two, season two, episode two, which just came out a few days ago. When the episode gets released, it'll have been we'll almost be ready for episode three at that time. But a bit of a recap, rating, etc. We'll just kind of like walk through highlights of the episode. And I mean, to get us started, I mean, I think the season's starting off pretty well. I'm already kind of like sad that it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, me too. I was looking forward to more episodes for sure to cover this story, but um it seems like they're doing pretty well with the timing of everything so far in the episodes we've been given.
Yeah, I feel like season one, I had a clearer understanding of where things were going in the story, like what they're planning on having the finale be. I don't know if that's as clear for me now, which is kind of exciting. Like there's so many different things that they could like focus on or not, as they're adapting the story. So I feel like this season's a little more of a going to be more of a surprise for me. But
And I guess we should say we've all read Fire and Blood.
yeah.
So we know what's going to happen, but we're not going to expressly spoil future events. But we are allowed to like hint at, what we think may be happening.
Yeah.
So no spoilers is the point.
Cool.
So I think the most exciting thing, the highlight of the episode for me was the twin duel. And I'm bummed we couldn't get Ben or Josh here to get their thoughts on the twin duel. I wonder if they were, extra impacted by this. Could they envision themselves, in this moment? Would have been a good
Let's
perspective.
let's take a moment and analyze this as if it was them. Like who would Josh have backed? Who would Ben have backed? We were talking before this started that it seems like Josh was a staunch Green supporter season one, and maybe his allegiance is switching. But do we place him as Eric then? I can't remember who's who, honestly. I think Eric was the Green. Sir Eric.
Yes.
I guess it's like Eric and Eric, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Even if you say Eric,
Yeah.
you're probably
it right.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Ben would be supporting the black, which yeah.
So you think Ben would have been the turncoat at the end of last season?
I mean turncoat.
Right,
Is he
sure.
really a
Sure.
turncoat if he's defending the
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 rightful,
throne?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess that's the whole question of the
Yeah.
show, right?
Yeah. But yeah, interesting to see some allegiances switch. Um, especially with like I don't know, with what's happened so far in season two. I do think Rhaenyra comes off more sympathetic in
Yeah,
this
way
episode
more
than
right now.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems
But
like
that's
it's becoming a little bit harder and harder to back Team Green. Because in the first season, I will say I didn't hate Allison as much as I thought I would, or I didn't, I had a little bit of I was kind of on the fence too, like Josh, not as much as him. I was still Team Black because I kind of knew it was coming. Um, but this season it feels like, oh, Team Black's the obvious choice for me.
yeah.
Like, who
Even
do you
though
even cheer for on the green side? Who's
Yeah,
likable?
I think you can cheer for
Helena.
Helena. Yeah,
Yeah.
Helena for sure. I think you could have cheered for honestly Aegon or Aemond. Is that his name?
Yeah, amen.
The one-eyed. I think I feel like Aegon is a bad king, but I think you can like cheer for where he's like him as a person, being put in this situation. Um and Aemond definitely has his like issues, but I feel like a lot of his issues like arise from like the childhood drama.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
if you put aside the events of season one, it's easier to now cheer for Aegon of season
Yeah,
two. Like if you just
yeah.
forget about the whole, you know, child slavery type stuff that was happening and just go with who he is now. Like honestly, he has
Wait,
been
there's child slavery in season one. Am I forgetting this
was it
completely?
In the
was it or
Green
was it the
Council
fighting?
episode. Yeah,
It's like
where
fighting
they're going to
pits.
find Aegon. Yeah, they have the children fighting in the
Oh,
pits. Yeah.
yeah. All right, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
And
Can't
then the
I mean,
servant
that's
girl.
hard to defend.
can't
Yeah.
root for Aegon at all. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I'm very biased, and I feel like honestly the show kind of makes the Greens look worse than they do in the book in terms of like justified picking their side, because it's all just a ploy for power, like in my mind it's all coming from Otto. Otto wants his family to
Yeah.
have power, and so it's his ploy. Where in the books there was some of that for sure, but it was also like I feel like the survival aspect was came across stronger, and it might just be Black. Like Rhaenyra's side was not as sympathetic in the book as she was made in the show. But like, so you have Otto just wanting power, Alicent who's just a judgmental prude and a hypocrite judgmental prude,
They
and
added that in the show. I mean, to make
yeah, yeah,
them even more unlikable.
and that's what I'm saying. I feel like that's why I was so surprised when Josh was so Team Green in season one. I was like the worst thing you can say about Rhaenyra is that her children are bastards, but like she wasn't cheating on anybody, in the sense of like everything was consensual. It was like totally fine. And like, I don't know if you're in a kingdom, you got to do what the king said. The king said Rhaenyra should be queen. So I don't know, but
Well, talking about Otto and how, his shift in this last episode, that was really interesting to watch. I think the actor owned that scene with
oh
him
yeah,
and Kristen. That was my favorite scene of the episode.
yeah,
With Aegon and Kristen and Otto.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a
And
lot there. I mean, first of all, it was funny to start.
yeah,
I'm liking some Aegon moments with just some levity. I think the show really needs that. And Otto's reaction to that was also pretty funny. Like, you are both idiots.
yeah,
and he's not wrong. That was the one time I stood by Otto right there. But, he got himself into that situation. So it's hard to still
Yeah.
yeah.
to root for him. But it feels like he's regretting that decision of placing, you know, Aegon in power.
Yeah, I feel like Otto is kind of like uh dang, I don't know, I can't remember his name, but the Lord Lannister equivalent,
Tywin?
and Tywin. Not as ruthless for sure, but just like a little like more concerned about his family's legacy over
Mhm.
everything, and like knows how to make that work and using his influence that way. And so I kind of felt like that was Tywin getting frustrated with like
Right.
Cersei or yeah, or
Yeah, it kind of felt like he was finally getting frustrated because he couldn't control Aegon in any way that he wanted to or advise him.
yeah,
Mhm.
which like you said, it's like he got himself into that
Yeah.
position. So, but he had a string of insults that was pretty fun in
Yeah.
the show. He did, yeah, he really owned that scene. Like he just came across so exasperated, just like so like as I can't remember like what he says, but as he's insulting them, like he pauses and you think he's done, and it's just like he's like so over it, like he can't even fully express how
Uh-huh.
stupid they are, that situation.
Yeah. This is your king. Well, the king is my
Uh,
grandson and he's an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's now going back to Old Town, right? That's his next move.
Yeah, and we got a
Yeah.
little mention of Daron there, which I didn't know if they were going to include him or not in the story. So
Mhm.
really cool um, that we kind of get a glimpse of him for a
So
second.
he's the third
The
son of
fourth,
Alicent.
the fourth of Allison.
Fourth, right? Okay.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track of all the
Or
kids because
fourth, fourth child, third
Fourth
son.
child. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
third
okay.
son. You were
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And he's been like studying over there or squiring for.
Acquiring. Yeah.
Hmm.
does
I
the
saw
Aemond
Old Town for like a hot second in Game of Thrones when Sam is over there for like
Hmm.
part of one episode, but we've never really been there, right?
Yeah, no, not really.
That'll be interesting. Maybe he'll be a character that people like on the black side and gets a little bit of sympathy.
Yeah, possibly. There's a high chance of that. Um, and I also really like that they're starting to like start the stories of some of these side characters that come in and play a bigger part
Hmm.
in the
Yeah.
season. Like we've already seen Adam and Alan and that love that confrontation between Alan and Corliss. That was awesome. Um, and then we
And
see
Hugh,
Hugh as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, some
Yeah.
good hits. I'm guessing. I mean, most watchers are probably like, who are these characters? And they're gonna have to like go with some faith as they're going to have a role to play in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of theorizing what they like how this season could end. It seems like they are setting up a lot of external pieces, like pieces outside of the two main families, you know. Um, excited to see how those are influenced. Um,
Like we should have had like a big speculation, like full spoiler type thing as to,
yeah.
our vision of how we could lay out how events are. 'Cause I think that's an interesting conversation.
Well, I don't think this is a spoiler. I won't say any specifics, but my prediction now, and like the show has changed some things from the book, so this isn't like guaranteed, but it feels like the like I'm gonna guess this season ends setting up for like actual war to be happening between
You don't think
between
at all in these next episodes?
I feel like there might be some skirmishes coming up, but I feel like lines drawn in the sand. Like we hear about Damon trying to go to Heron Hall to like secure their influence there. And in the first episode, what's his face went to the Starks on the wall. And then Alicent mentions securing the Tyrells a little better. Um, so I feel like in my mind, but I don't know. I can't remember how many seasons they're planning on doing. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like maybe the finale ends with like the
Hmm.
first like the beginning of Total War actually happening. But you think this season's gonna be more battles throughout?
I think so. I think that we'll see some big battles this season.
No, other than the finale. Like,
Yeah.
okay. I feel like it's been going kind of slow for that, but I'd be excited. Like I would enjoy that more. But
I mean, the preview for episode 3 was
oh, I
like
didn't see.
Aegon
Oh man.
saying,
Yeah.
oh, let's go to war. And they were,
Oh, I didn't see that. I feel dumb now.
things were, well, I, I mean, I guess that's like kind
Not
of a
spoiler.
spoiler, although it's like in the
No,
preview. So,
it's a trailer. It's
Uh-huh.
a trailer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Okay.
don't, to be clear, I don't think there's going to be a big battle happening in episode 3. I
Hmm.
bet they have budget for like 2 really big set piece battles.
I think when we move into episode 4, we'll see a battle.
Yeah, like a mid-season.
Yeah.
Mid, yeah. Because they kind of did that in season one. Not a like big battle, but they had like a mid-season. What are those called? Are those finales? Mid-season finale? That feels
Yeah.
weird to call it that, but because it's not the end. But yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that another really cool scene I felt from this episode was the scene between Damon and Rhaenyra. Their
Yeah.
conversation, and finally,
Yeah.
like Rhaenyra finally coming at Damon with the big questions of, do you really support me, or are you still salty about not getting your place on the throne?
Mhm.
Or whatever you thought you had, she says, uh,
Yeah.
that was a heavy, like a conversation that needed to happen between those two. Like it was, I felt like it was a healthy conversation and cool to a good scene, in the character building there for them.
Yeah, I feel like it made Damon as much as he kind of dodged a lot of the questions, it made him like be more straightforward with his motivations and everything. Um yeah. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get to the point where he doesn't think he deserves the throne, but at this point, like
But at
it's
the
not.
same at the same time, I kind of supported Damon more than I supported Rainier in that conversation. He was making some good points. Like, hey, like all I've done this far is like support you, help you, help your cause. He's going off to Harrenhal to raise an army in her name, and he put the
I
crown
don't
on her
know.
head and all of that. I
He
don't know. I
he
think I think
did,
he made
but
good points, and I don't think
he
that he's trying to undermine her at all.
I don't think he's trying to undermine her, but I think he's trying to do it in a way where he still maintains his autonomy. So he's not, I don't think he's fully sworn to her. Like his allegiance, like he'll still
Like
do,
he still wants some control of the narrative.
like he picked a side, but he didn't pick someone to serve under, I don't think. I think that was my takeaway from the scene.
So kind of
He's
like a
like,
Rainey's, where she's just kind of her own thing, and she doesn't
yeah,
really kneel to anyone, but she will support Rhaenyra.
yeah. And I think that's why like the ways Damon has supported Rhaenyra have have been like selfishly for him as well. Like if he truly wanted to support Rhaenyra, I mean, it is left ambiguous. What did he say if what did he say to them if they can't find Aemond, But my interpretation was he was like a son for a son, like do like
Yeah.
kill who you can in there. And that is not something Rhaenyra would have wanted and is like detrimental to her cause. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, he is helping her, but he's also like he's not he's like, okay, yeah, let's do this instead of, okay, what do you want me to do? Like he sees himself as her equal, and so he's not going to completely uh bow down to her in that way,
Do
which
you think in episode one, when Rhaenyra comes in and says her one line of "Bring me Aemond Targaryen," do you think that Daemon interpreted that as her saying, "Do whatever it takes, get this done. I understand, like you're gonna skirt whatever and just make it happen." And do you think that Rhaenyra actually meant that to Daemon, or was she just saying to her council in general, like, let's figure out how to kill this dude?
I think it's really clear that Rhaenyra doesn't want to take any more blood than she has to. That she's like very reserved and not trying to start anything bigger than what justice basically needs to be served, and an eye for an eye, right? Whatever.
yeah.
But I think, yeah, so I think it was kind of, yeah, that was Damon. But I do think there's this thing between Damon and Rainier where yeah, he was like, yeah, I'll go do something for you right now. Like I'm gonna act
Yeah.
really quick to act. Um, which obviously isn't the best, but
Yeah, I feel like his indulgences there, his like carelessness is a way for him to assert his independence a little
mm,
bit. Like I'll do this thing for you, but I'm also going to do it my way. And not
Mhm.
my way because that's how I know to succeed, but my way um because it's me and like I don't want to be feel
So
uh
does
not in
that
control.
mean that Rhaenyra is in some way culpable to what ultimately ended up happening because she basically unleashed like a mad dog
No.
and to get it done, and she didn't really put any parameters around it, just said like go do it. And I mean, to some degree, she's got to know like this is Damon. There could easily be collateral damage.
That's
Uh,
true. I feel like she
yeah,
knows Damon more than like better than anyone. So
I feel
Yeah.
like I don't think that's a completely fair take. I feel like Damon owns all the responsibility here. Like, I don't know. Like he knows what Rhaenyra would have wanted, and he I don't know. He did what he wanted to do in that situation.
Mm,
Um, and like, but yeah, maybe some responsibilities at Rhaenyra's feet of just whether she should be involved with Damon at all, which is like what she concludes at the end, right? Like, I can't trust you. So
mhm.
like like so maybe that's what she learned there. But I'm hoping we see growth in Damon to um be able to check himself and his influences. But I don't see himself ever getting to a point where he agrees that Rhaenyra deserves the throne more than him. But I'm hoping he can get to a point where he's like, basically, you have the throne because I allow it, and I'm okay with that, you know. But
Okay.
I don't know. Damon's so interesting because I feel like he's one of those characters who just has such potential one way or the other, you know. Like when I think this is kind of not the same but similar character development, like when he took the sandstones, or what are they called,
Stepstones.
done.
the stepstones in the first season, where he's like doing that for his brother, also doing it a little bit for his own glory, but also like he's doing this for his brother, and like showing that good side of him, like channeling his darker tendencies to
Yeah.
do something good. Like,
But
yeah,
then once in that situation, like once he got a letter, was it recalling him or giving him like reinforcements?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, and he killed the
I
guy.
guess the point was he would be no longer getting the glory for this victory. And so at that point
Yeah.
he's like, screw it. I'll risk whatever to further, my own name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I also think like a big part of his character is not feeling like anyone has recognized his worth or trusted him in that way. And when he tells Rhaenyra like he should have been king over his brother because he was the better choice, which I don't know if I agree with that. And then he would have been a better king than her because he would have been like able to make these harsh decisions, um, or than she would. Like I think all of that is stemming from not feeling validated in his own worth. And so in the stepsons, I think that's another instance of that. It's not just uh you're not gonna have the glory, but it's like we don't trust you to be able to do this. Like we don't, it's like you're not, I mean, it goes back to that trust because
Mm,
he is just a wild card. And I think he becomes more of a wild card when he doesn't feel like people are trusting him. And that's why I think he's like this delicate balance of like can do so much good, but if you're not like
you don't manage
catering to
him
his,
very
yeah,
closely and
yeah,
massage his ego correctly, then
yeah, like I wonder if they like imagine if Viserys, is that his name? Man, I can't remember
Yeah.
anybody's
yeah,
names.
yeah.
Imagine if he had trusted Daemon more in the beginning and like used him
Mm,
more. Daemon's glory would have grown, but I don't think Daemon wanted it more for like to have like glory as much as just be recognized as like look what I can do instead of just being like pushed to the side and locked away. But
mm.
My take on Damon is a little bit different. I feel like he is the one person who's trying to make sure that the Targaryen dynasty lives on, that their legacy lives on, and he wants that Targaryen power, um, that existed, and I think he saw Viserys as weak, for not furthering that, and I think he's just, yeah, He's like, if you know, we're gonna get things, we need to get things done in order to make sure that this dynasty lives on.
Yeah. So his main motivation is like, so he kind of, your view of it is he sees everyone else as just too short-sighted, like caring about, when it comes to caring about individual lives, when it comes to caring about like the politics, he's like, this is all dumb. All we got to do is maintain our power, grow our power in our dynasty that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what he did with the gold cloaks, and the order that he
Yeah.
established there. I think that's a very like on a smaller scale
Yeah.
kind of mindset that he has and
Mm.
the way that power should be. And so
Do you guys think do you agree he would have been a better king then than Viserys?
Viserys,
Mm.
yeah, it's hard because yeah, Viserys did avoid war and try and keep
Yeah.
peace as much as he could. And I think he was more personable. But as we see in the universe of, you know, of A Song of Ice and Fire, that's not it's not the way to survive.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're really good foils to each other where Viserys's strengths like are huge weaknesses in Daemon and vice versa. Like Daemon would never have let uh I feel like Daemon can be like irrational and he's not like the most politically savvy, but I feel like if he got any sort of sense that Otto was trying to manipulate him, Otto would have been out of
Mm.
there, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he would have not just like if he did sense it, he would have been like on edge to sense like, is someone trying to take advantage of me? Whereas Viserys was so personable, like you said, that he was like blind to these things and not, yeah. But at the same time, I do think Daemon could have like ruined the dynasty more so by like overextending, and like it's that balance of war, right? But and just like he could have caused the like a Robert's rebellion years. Well, maybe not. They still had a bunch of dragons at that time, so probably not. That was a key difference in the Game of
Oh,
Thrones rebellion.
yeah.
But yeah, like he could have like really ruined the kingdom that way. I don't know. I think default I see Viserys as the better option of the two. And I definitely see Rhaenyra as a better option of the two, at least show version. I feel like in the book it's a little more uh even-handed as to like who is better, for the when it comes to the kingdom and for the small folk and everyone. But
Mm.
yeah.
So maybe the best option overall would have been a more savvy Viserys with Daemon as his hand and like able
Yeah.
to manipulate, keep him in check, but Daemon can, continue to keep the family strong and keep meddling high towers out of this.
That's that's kind of how I view the show's interpretation of it. I can't remember from the book if it really had any sort of like um thesis in regards to this, but I do think the show is like one of the things that's saying is if Viserys and Daemon had known how to work together, like they could have like really rounded each other out if they had trusted each other in that way.
Mm.
But yeah. And potentially Rhaenyra as well. Although I don't think Rhaenyra has nearly. I think Rhaenyra's biggest weakness now is she hasn't. I don't know. She hasn't seemed as politically interested in maintaining the power. Like, and I don't know. I'm trying to remember from season one. Like she doesn't like Alicent and Otto being so politically savvy. Like they were all about like consolidating power. They knew how to work the court and everything. And I don't think Rhaenyra ever really learned how to do any of
Mm.
that. But
Yeah, I do think the restraint that Rhaenyra has shown has definitely proven to be not so great in the long run, especially with like, Otto showing up to Dragonstone in the last season. And she should have just taken him prisoner and uh
or eating him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It solved a lot of problems if we got rid of that guy.
Seriously. And I think
Yeah.
Damon, yeah, if Damon was, like the king, he wouldn't let Otto anywhere near,
No.
you
Yeah.
know.
Hey, but now we've got rid of Otto, and now we have a different hand, so I'm sure things are gonna go well, right?
I
A great hand. Oh, the best we've ever seen.
A fist,
The
right? An iron
kingmaker.
fist.
yeah. Was he hand in the book? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He does.
but
Man.
not as soon, right? A little bit later.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, just like, and I can't remember his. I feel like his interpretation of the show is like way more fleshed out than in the book. I could be wrong on that, but he feels like um a different and more of a character in the show. Was he this inept and like just the worst in the book as well?
They definitely didn't flesh him out as much. Like we don't know, you know,
I feel like he was just
he's not
like
that.
a like
He's
he
a
was
lot
just
more
like
hateable in the show.
yeah. And so like man, there's like there's just no way this goes well at all, right? For Green.
It doesn't look that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, man.
It's like the Greens have, I mean, other than the dragons, they're outnumbered on the dragon side. So it'll be good that
Yeah.
they do indeed have Darren in the show.
Yeah,
But
because
other
he
than
flies
that,
on
like it felt
Caesarion.
like they really have a lot of momentum until idiots like Aegon like piss it away with by hanging the rat catchers. And I'm sure Kristen will do stupid stuff as well and just, undermine any advantages they seem to be getting.
Do you guys watch In Deep Geek on YouTube?
No.
It's
No.
a really good YouTube channel. Covers mostly Song of Ice and Fire and Lord of the Rings, The Witcher every once in a while, and I think they have like one episode with regarding the Wheel of Time. But they did an episode about like the importance of the rat catchers in and like this scene connecting it to Game of Thrones because
Mm.
there are no rat catchers in the Red Keep in Game of Thrones, like when Arya and them visit, and like his whole video was tying it back to like this incident. Like after this, like they only employed cats because like they didn't trust rat catchers in the keep ever again.
Sir
Uh,
Pounce.
Sir Pounce, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Arya's cat?
uh,
That's Tommen's
yeah.
cat,
Oh,
right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
um,
common.
but anyways, I thought it was a fun connection. He has a really good channel. Um, but
Mm. That's
speaking of
interesting.
the
So this
dragons,
from this moment, it's like 200 years later or something is Game of Thrones events. They
something like
said
that.
no more rat catchers. Or
Yeah.
maybe no one wanted to sign up for the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
wouldn't want
what,
to.
yeah. Yeah. Is it was it decreed or was it just yeah.
Interesting.
Um you mentioned the dragons. Am I right in remembering that the blacks have more dragons, but the greens have just way bigger dragons? We know they have that one who's the biggest, Aemond's. Um, but is that generally how
Vagar,
has this
right? The
shown?
one with
Yeah,
all the
Vagar.
holes in
Yep.
his wings.
Yeah,
The
Vagar.
one that bit what's his face's dragon in half, like in one bite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rip.
Um uh but yeah, has the show set it up that way too? I think that's how it was in the book. Like, and then there's some politicking with dragon
Mhm.
riders. Do you think they're gonna get into that? I
I
Yes.
hope
hope
they
so.
do.
Yeah, I hope
They're
so.
Okay.
setting that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
like
yeah.
it.
Because it yeah. Okay. Try not to
As
like get
far,
into
but yeah,
spoilers,
you're
but
right. The
Yeah,
yeah.
green dragon, the
there
greens
there
have
still
Vagar.
is.
Do they only have two? Like, do they only have Vagar
They have
and
Vagar
Darren's
and
dragon?
Dreamfire and well, Caesarion. Um, and I think they have four. trying to think of
Okay.
oh,
Aegon has a dragon.
Sunfire.
Yes.
Yeah, Sunfire is Aegon's
Aegon must
dragon.
have a dragon. He's the king. He's got to have a dragon.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. Have we seen Aegon
No,
doing
so I
anything in the
was really
comics?
sad about that because in the first season when that Green Council episode, the ninth episode of the season where they, where Aegon's crowned, gets his coronation in the dragon pit and everything. Rhaenys busting out of there, tearing everything apart, kind of spoiling his coronation. He didn't get the opportunity that he had in the books where, he flies around King's Landing on Sunfire and it's like this cool moment. So we didn't really get to see that with Aegon in the first season. They kind of stripped that away from him. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we get to see him on Sunfire. Sweet.
I guess that, at some point there is a budget for special effects, and dragons are going to be pretty costly in that regard.
They've
Yeah.
been killing it with the dragons too. Like with as much as they've shown, like
Hmm.
so amazing.
Yeah, I'm loving the way that they're portraying the dragon bonds. It's like giving
Yeah,
more insight into like what we speculated in the books.
yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool to see that on screen.
Just all the different designs, man. Like the dragons in Game of Thrones look great, but I feel like they've like outdone themselves in this show. But
They had to, I
was
mean, they obviously had to have a way to convey to viewers which dragons are which
yeah,
without always explaining this one is, Viserion and it's written by what, like, so they all have pretty distinctive looks, and I think they're doing a good job of that.
yeah.
Although,
Whereas
we'll
with
see how well that holds up, because I think they're going to be adding several more. And at some point, dragons do kind of start to look like each other. So we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah, we caught a glimpse of sea smoke again in that last episode.
Oh, and
Flying
Adam,
over Alan or Adam, yeah.
which one is it? Alan?
Adam. Yeah.
Adam is the one introduced in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting
And
because, we know what happened to Laenor. He got away and all that. And that was his
and
dragon.
see, that was his dragon,
Yeah.
and now it's kind of like a wild dragon.
Yeah.
what do they call those?
The,
I'm
the
I get
wild
them.
dragons,
The Daemon dragon.
No, the there's like I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Maybe it doesn't matter. Like what do they call the
dragon
there's
seeds.
the dragon seeds?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Man, George R. R. Martin always has like great names, for things
Yeah,
like that.
totally.
I
Yeah,
didn't realize that he kind of joked around with a lot of names in this book, and like I guess he named all of the Tullys after Sesame Street characters.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
like Grover, yeah,
Uh-huh.
Oscar, yeah. Which I guess if you're trying to use English sounding names and you have all these houses, at some point you're just going to like go to a different source and like copy paste, right? Like, and then maybe make some edits there, here and there to like fantasy it up a bit. But
I mean, just throw it on the Tullys. No one cares, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, all right. I think that's a pretty good recap for episode 2. Anything we missed? I think we got it all.
No, no.
No. You know what? We didn't talk about the funeral
Oh,
procession,
yeah.
which I thought was really.
Oh man.
I mean, we talked about Otto quite a bit, and that was a very Otto moment.
Yeah. That was a very Tywin reminiscent moment for Otto,
Yeah, sure.
just
Yeah,
like
definitely.
yeah.
And then seeing that go from Alicent to Helena, we're like, this is just your duty to the crown. We have to do this, that was really hard to watch. Because you can only imagine how she feels.
Team Helena. Yeah.
Team Helena, for sure.
Yeah.
She's like the most innocent one out of everyone.
Yeah. I really like what
Felt
they're
like
doing with her character.
that scene was so well done from beginning to end. And there was like that moment when it was the wagon wheel was stuck in the rut, and it seemed like Jair's body was about to like
Yeah.
fall off.
Yeah,
I've
thought
had the
the
same thought.
I thought his head was gonna detach.
Me too.
That's I was like, it's just gonna roll off. I'm glad they didn't.
Me too.
But I was like glued to the screen though, like it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
But they were able to still portray that,
Yeah.
whatever feeling that is.
Yeah, they captured it for sure.
Man, in terms of mothers, I gotta say Rhaenyra is a way better mother than Alicent.
100%. I think
100%.
watching Allison with her kids this season especially has been really difficult. It's like, yeah,
Which interesting. I mean, I wonder if this is intentional. Like, Rhaenyra's kids were all, from love, whereas Alicent's children were all from duty, you know, not
yeah,
necessarily of her own volition.
Mm.
that's interesting. The love and duty connection. I love that
Yeah,
theme that runs throughout.
yeah. It's like, did she
And
even
she's
really
not getting
want to be a
any
mother?
parental support herself.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
she
Yeah,
should have.
there's
Yeah,
not a lot of love in the Red Keep.
No, yeah. There's not a lot of knowing how to care for each other. Like
Mm,
nobody grew up like as a child learning how to like
yeah,
hug their sibling, like or just feel any sympathy. It's just a
mhm.
mess in there. Nobody knows.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. All the feels for Helena. So I know this is episode 2, but I just can't. I'm just thinking back, to episode 1. But
Well, on that depressing note, thanks for tuning in. If you want to chat with us more, you can join our Discord. Invites are in the episode description below. Thanks again, Hayden, for coming in and setting us straight with details, etc. And I mean, if you want to comment or let us know what we missed on or whatever, top on Discord or leave us a comment below. And yeah, thanks, guys.
see ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.